This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All righty. There he is. There he is now. We just saw it was just a D, and now we got David. There we go. How you doing, my man? Good afternoon,
I'm doing
sir.
well, Big O. How are you?
I am doing great, bro. 7 in a row. It's fun to cover winning. It's fun to talk about winning. And we had enough losing at the beginning of the year, so now we're getting all the winning now towards the back end. What was most impressive for you on yesterday's win?
On yesterday's win, it's got to be the defense first and foremost. They were facing Ian Book making his NFL debut, so you kind of figured the game would go this direction. But just to see it again and again consistently over this winning streak, no slip-ups. It's been phenomenal, the turnaround that the Dolphins defense has seen being top 5 in so many different categories, just about everyone you could think of during this win streak, from where they were at that 1-7 start. Of course, the competition has had a lot to do with it, but it's still the NFL. It's still professionals on the other side. So to consistently do this throughout a 7-game stretch in the NFL is still very impressive.
And listen, in the end, they are a 1-7 team that had to do this. So if you're 1-7, you're not very good. So whoever you're beating is good. I mean, it's kind of, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of unfair to always diss the competition when we can't really look at them as elite at that moment. When you're 1-7, you're pretty bad, dude. So any victory for you is a good one. And crap, man, winning on the road, that's enormous.
Right. And a lot of those wins, they were beating the spread in a lot of these, so exceeding what most people would expect of them in those games, if you will. So, and then
Right.
even yesterday, they were only 3-point favorites on the road. Of course, when you consider the New Orleans Saints defense and how they shut out the Tampa Bay Buccaneers the week before, although a lot of those Buccaneers, they were just dropping like flies in that game. So, but yeah, I guess a tough defense, a solid game plan of just being conservative on offense. Took 1 or 2 shots downfield, one of them that hit to Matt Collins, and not letting the offensive line or turnovers destroy your chances to win. Getting quick passes out, running the ball, even though it wasn't for a lot of yards, but just getting tough yards, and then letting the defense do its thing against Ian Book.
Talk to me a little bit about Tua's play. How would you assess his play yesterday?
Well, I think it's a lot of what we've seen from Tua. It's he's completing passes at a high percentage because he's getting the ball out quick, mostly working underneath. He knows he has to behind this offensive line, so getting the ball out and taking the occasional shot. So we saw the one that Matt Collins that hit. We saw one that he took one single coverage to Devontae Parker. Parker then had to go up and kind of back away from the defender. So just the occasional shot, and then of course you always see the one interception, maybe 2 mistakes that you see from him per game. The one interception he did throw, at least if you look at it one way, it was a 3rd down. Now he missed a wide open Jalen Waddle, so that's one thing that was inexcusable about that play.
Yeah, he was pressured. He was pressured. Oh no, that's the Gaskin one that he missed on the.
There was that one. Right, there was that one too, which he was pressured, but it's a throw he should complete.
No, you got to make that one. That you got to make.
Yeah, absolutely.
It sucks that Jackson whiffed on the block and the guy's coming at you, but that's kind of what you've been under, that duress the entire time. And that wasn't a difficult throw. That one was maybe the easier throw than the other one that you were about to talk about.
Yeah, and then I'm just mentioning the interception, which was a deep ball on 3rd down. He tried to go over the top when he had Waddle open in the middle. And, that one, 3rd down, it ends up being kind of like a net punt of 39 if you end up just failing on 3rd down and punting. So situationally wasn't a terrible interception, but just the decision and the throw itself were poor.
All right, but they came out CBS with the career winning percentage for QBs drafted since 2019. Tua's number 1. He's ahead of Mac Jones, Kyler Murray, Justin Herbert, and Joe Burrow. And this is without a running game and without an offensive line. So that's something that Mac Jones has. That's something that Kyler Murray has. That's something that Justin Herbert has. That's something that Joe Burrow has. So what does that say about Tua that he leads those guys with less to work with.
It's also the defense that he has on the other side winning a lot of these games for him too. I will say.
Okay, but
So he does have that. But
Kyler Murray's defense is not bad,
right? Mac Jones's isn't bad. Yeah.
And by the way, the Bengals are much improved, dude. The Bengals are kicking people's asses. So, and Mac Jones has got a monster defense. So, you know, your buddy, okay, my friend, but your buddy, Omar Kelly, he doesn't understand this part. I was trying to explain it to his ass yesterday. Mac Jones lives in a box because Bill Belichick forces him to live in a box. Tua lives in a box because he has no choice. He wants to throw it deep, but he doesn't have any freaking time, so he has to stay in the box. So if you really look at it, a lot of those guys have defenses. A lot of those guys have offensive lines. A lot of those guys have running games. I mean, you know, for the people that say, can you win with Tua? I think the proof is there. You can win with the kid.
Right. And I think to truly be able to see his true potential, you want to see him with all these things at his disposal, just the time to throw the deep ball. Now, granted, I mean, I still do think back to, for example, the previous game against the Jets that he had an open Albert Wilson deep down the sideline, underthrew him. And so, yeah, he had an opportunity there to show it. And then the underthrow allowed the defender to catch up and make the deflection. So, yeah, I mean, you do want to see him
David,
with all these things.
David, if we watch every quarterback, they're going to have one or two bad throws.
Of course.
You know what I mean? So are we a little overcritical of Tua sometimes? We want him to be absolutely perfect, that every outing has to be a masterpiece. And under this situation, man, that's difficult, dude.
Yeah, and maybe we do overanalyze because there are so few of those shots downfield that he can take. So kind of each one of them is just amplified so much.
That's a fantastic point on your part, dude. That is a great point because there are so few opportunities that the few that you have, you better hit. And if you don't, I get what you're saying. That it really magnifies. That's a great point. David Furones, by the way, joining us on the program. Remember, you can follow him on Twitter at David Furones _. Catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel as he covers the Miami Dolphins on a daily basis. You look at Nick Needham, the growth of Nick Needham, dude. And one of the things I mentioned to folks is that guy's playing on an $850,000 contract this year. Somebody's up for a big raise next season.
Yeah, I'll say. And I mean, he even showed some versatility going back to the previous week against the Jets, playing free safety. Javon Holland was out in COVID protocols, and to be able to fill in there when the Dolphins really didn't have many other options for that position specifically because Eric Rowe has been a lot of strong safety, and Brandon Jones obviously does that. Rowe was filling in for Jones the 2 games before that when he had the elbow injury. So, to be so versatile in the nickel packages when you have X and Byron Jones as your top 2 corners, and then be able to play free safety, all this. I mean, come through with it was great to see that he came through with a big play that it worked out for him. The deflection from Andrew Van Ginkel went to him, and then I think it was his first play in the game, and the second pass that Ian Book threw, and to be able to just have that open field in front of him for the pick six, and set the tone right from the start, because that kind of, it really did set the tone that this defense is going to make things difficult for Ian Book all night, and the Dolphins were playing with the lead all night because of it.
Yeah, and that was the game-winning points. You didn't need anything else after that.
Yeah.
The game was over at that point. I saw you tweet it out the last time Ian Book played a Miami team, right? It was you that tweeted out last night, right? I'm pretty sure.
I tweeted out the video.
It was the interception against
the Trajan Bandy pick six, 2017. He was a freshman coming in as a backup there in that game.
And I've said this several times. I liked him as a freshman. I liked what I saw, and I said, man, if that kid develops as a passer, he's going to be pretty good. That was the problem. He never developed as a passer. And that's why I never feared him in that game unless they allowed him and Kamara to run the ball, and they knocked that crap out right away. And they like told them, now you guys aren't running the ball today. You're going to have to beat us with that guy's arm. And when that was going to happen, I knew Miami had every chance to win this game unless they turned over the ball a bunch of times.
Right. It almost felt Belichickian of Brian Flores to take away that top offensive weapon, Alvin Kamara, especially given the circumstances. You're not going to beat us with Kamara, and you love the extension of it from the players on defense, and even Christian Wilkins trying to get into Kamara's head with the gamesmanship.
What was that? Was that just two guys talking crap? Is that it? Do you know what the hell was going on there?
It seemed to be in the moment. I asked Christian Wilkins about it post-game on the Zoom, and he didn't want to talk too much about it, I guess, trying to keep it on the field. But, he did mention the word gamesmanship there, so it seems like trying to get into his head a little bit. It was the Dolphins' focus to stop Alvin Kamara, and I think Alvin was frustrated at that point in the game, and then Wilkins was messing with him after a play, swipes his towel, and so it also drew a 15-yard penalty with Kamara's retaliation. So worked out well for the Dolphins.
David, has the running back room changed? I'm glad that they gave Duke another chance. Obviously, he did not have the success. I didn't expect him to have success against these guys. The 110-yard run was sweet, but it kind of looked like it was becoming more of the Duke and Lindsay show overall. Is that what you see developing? Or, they are scheme-oriented, so you never know if they change things up.
Right. I actually ran through the offensive snaps from last night's game. And Gaskin actually did have one more snap than Lindsay, although Lindsay outcarried him significantly, 13-3. Lindsay and Duke Johnson, both had 13. So interesting to see that. So Gaskin was still in the game plenty. They were almost evenly split in thirds with how many offensive snaps they were in. But, definitely handing the ball off, it was mostly to Duke and Philip Lindsay. Gaskin had 3 targets in the passing game, along with his 3 carries. So,
they do say they like his blocking. So I guess
right.
Apparently, to block more.
Yeah, but it was hard to imagine seeing Duke have the same success against the Jets to then have it against the Saints. So. I guess kind of went the way you expected. Tough yards to be gained. I like the way Duke, at this point in his career, is running with more strength between the tackles. You see him more as a downhill guy, where you always thought of him as this quick scat back, pass catching. We're going back to his days with the Browns, and because he wasn't that big coming out of the University of Miami. So, what we saw out of him back playing with the Canes. So. Now we see that kind of style, and the yards are going to be tough to come by against the Saints, and it went into that conservative approach, just don't lose the game on offense with turnovers, and it was good enough to do that.
Evil EVCD says Wilkins took his towel. I didn't notice that. I got to go back and check it out.
Oh, you did? Yeah, he did. Right,
That's
right.
what it was?
So then Kamara came back to retaliate and push him in the back. That's what happened.
Okay. Oh, okay. See, I'm in a bar, so I guess I missed that part there. I just saw the talking. I didn't see that exchange. So you guys ended up seeing something I must have missed there at the bar last night. This week, man, it's the Titans.
You had a better time though at the bar.
Huh?
You had a better time at the bar.
Yeah, I have such a rough life. You know what I'm saying? It's 31 years of just talking sports and covering at bars and stuff. It's a rough life I live there, David. You know what I'm saying? We got the Titans this week, my brother. What do you think about this game up against Ryan Tannehill and the boys?
Yeah, I'm excited to see this defense go up against Tannehill without Derrick Henry in the backfield for him. So, we've seen he's been a little uneven since Derrick Henry went down. And, now Dolphins offense against the Titans defense, that's going to be a tough matchup. So it'll be interesting on the road now. At least they've got this road game facing a hostile environment in New Orleans a little bit. under them because they had been at home for so long. Between Halloween and Christmas, the only road game was at the Jets, so not really, especially with their record, it wasn't really like a hostile environment. And how many Dolphins fans were there, so it'll be a little bit tougher. And one that the Dolphins really need. There are scenarios where they could be entirely eliminated if they lose, and other teams in the AFC win. And it's really difficult to come out with a split and have everything they need lined up. So really, the first one of two that they really need, like Flo consistently says, they'll take it this 1 week at a time first, and try to pull this one out. Then it's all on that Patriots matchup after that.
All right, so for this matchup, for me, obviously there's a lot of things that go into this matchup, but the ultimate part of this matchup is, it's Rocky versus Clubber Lang, it's Rocky versus Drago, it's X versus AJ Brown, bro.
Mm-hmm.
That's the guy that he counts on all the time, and that slant has not been a strong suit of X this year. And so I'm wondering, and if it's Byron Jones, then I am really concerned because AJ can be much more physical on him, whereas X can get physical, which, by the way, kudos to X for slinging the damn receiver out the sidelines after they took a cheap shot at the Dolphins earlier in the game. So nice job by X on the retaliation. I love that one where he just flung that. But his was legal because he did it from inside the field, which was a beautiful thing. Right. Theirs was completely dirty when they hit him. It was Waddle, right? Wasn't it Waddle that they ragdolled? Yeah, it was right. It was Waddle.
Waddle. He was more than a step out. He was deep into that big white line. Yeah, for out of bounds.
So for me, the biggest part of this matchup is going to be stopping AJ Brown, the guy that this guy counts on a lot overall, and AJ's big ass body and athleticism. It's hard to get around that guy. So for me, that's going to be the biggest challenge of this game, and maybe the biggest challenge for X this season.
Yeah, we saw it in that last Titans win. I'm sure a lot of us were watching that Thursday night game. AJ Brown came through at the end and really throughout the game. So that's Tannehill's go-to guy, and even more so now. Julio Jones is on the COVID list now as of yesterday afternoon. So
his fragile ass doesn't last games anyways. I don't even worry about that guy anymore. We talk too much.
It's really all about Brown. Yeah.
Right, yeah, it's all about it's all about history with that guy. He hasn't been that receiver in a few years, dude. Yeah, occasionally he'll show up, but I don't fear that guy. AJ Brown's the monster that you got to fear. That's the guy you got to stop.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. But at least now that other guy that's opposite of him, you don't have to worry about him. Well, yeah, he could still clear protocols in time. I mean, guys are coming back quicker, and I know the NFL is adjusting the timing needed to come back from it. And this happened early in the week for him as well. So still a possibility he plays at this point. But yeah, I mean, it changes things a little bit, but definitely I agree with you. AJ Brown's the guy you have to worry about. And the Dolphins do like to let their corners play man-to-man. Maybe this is a situation where you mix it up and give either X or if it's Byron, then more help. But because it will be so critical to stop AJ Brown. So if Flores remains consistent with that, take away your opposing offense's top weapon, like you did with Kamara, focusing so much in on him, then that could be an option for him on Sunday.
I just hope Brandon Jones is ready to lay a couple licks on AJ. Although you might bounce off that guy because holy crap. That guy's built like a freaking wall, dude. All right, what are you working on the Sun Sentinel, David, so folks can check you out, my friend?
Yeah, today, coming off the Monday night win, just doing a little grades file, grading the different aspects of the win, and then we've got a follow up with Brian Flores, Zoom call later, and the coordinators as well, which we usually do on Tuesdays. This time it's right after a game, so yeah, and then a couple more. Then it's right back to it. Quicker turnaround, especially after the Titans have extra rest on the mini bye playing Thursday night. So quicker turnaround coming off the Monday night game for Sunday's big one.
Follow him on Twitter at David Furones _ if you're a Dolphin fan. He's a must follow. He does a great job covering the Dolphins. And why he's also one of my favorite young writers, he's willing to ask the tough question, which I like that. I'm a big fan of that. David, thank you, my brother. I appreciate you. Thank you for taking some time, my friend.
Thanks, Big O. Always a pleasure.
You got it. Pleasure's mine. That is David Furones from the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Up-and-coming writer, man. Good young man. Does a really good job covering the team and has got the cojones to ask the tough question of coaches and players. So that's a trait that some aren't willing to pull the trigger on. David Furones will pull the trigger on that one.